All right, so welcome back, everyone. Thank you for your wand, Tina. I love that wand. And the tiara, Lisa. Both of you are fabulous. And your wand. All right, so let's go straight into the superpower. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower, however you normally do that. So repeating your word or phrase, using your anchor, or imagining hugging your subject. Feel your heart opening, feel that expansion feeling in your chest. Very good. And now imagine that light or energy shining out from your heart. And then spreading down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Fill each cell just for existing. Love each cell. Good job. And now allow that light, that energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love that child exactly as they are and just for existing. Very, very good. Now allow that light, that energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood with that light, that energy, that love, that power, glowing out from that child and filling everything and everyone around them, shining that light into any darkness and feeling the power of that, recognizing it. Very, very good. And now allow that light, that energy to fill everyone in this group with that same light, that energy, that love, loving each one just for existing. Those on camera, those off camera, those watching the recording. Allow that light, that energy to fill each person, loving them just for existing. Very good. You can open your eyes if you have them closed. And let's check in with each person to find out how you're doing. And starting with Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, Odile.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Good.
And I'm going to try and not be silly.
Oh, you're going to try and not be silly, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm trying. It's too soon for me to be silly.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so making progress with the homework you gave me.
Good.
Yeah. And but what has come out of it so far is this is a snapshot, and I just want your opinion on the following. So, as a child, so from the work that we done, okay, we've gathered this up. So, as a child, I did not get affection, attention, support emotionally. So then I craved for this. I never experienced it. Now, as an adult, I'm now 50. I'm being given affection, attention. They were so loving. They were so understanding. They supported me. They reassured me. And they were so charming, whatever. Fell in love with it all. Fell in love with it all. With all their affection. 100% I fell for the chit-chat.
Yes.
And I believed I trusted them. They betrayed me in the most devastating way. They stole all my money. So how does that work? You know, as in, never got it, and then when I get it, all money's taken. Do you see that?
Oh, yes, I do. I see that perfectly. Well done. Okay, so let me ask you this. Did you ever get any attention, affection, or what you thought would be attention and affection? Did you ever experience that as a child?
No.
Okay, so you never thought, nobody ever showed you any kind of attention or affection that you can remember?
Not as a baby, not as you were, you know, you were fed and you were cleaned and you were clothed and fed and whatever, and but there was no hugging, there was no affection, there was no nothing. It was all very disciplined and very military type thing or something.
Okay, and apart from your parents, did anyone else ever show you any kindness, compassion, affection?
Well, momentarily.
Yes.
As in momentarily, whatever,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Good. You got that? You remember that person?
Oh, these would be everybody throughout my life. There would be moments of.
Moments of, okay. So does one stand out for you?
That give me affection?
Yes. Affection, attention, acknowledgement, anything like that?
No. Everybody was there for a reason.
Okay, so nothing, no grandparents, no teachers?
Nothing.
Pets?
Oh, well, yeah, Charmaine.
Charmaine. Let's look at Charmaine. So when you lost Charmaine, when you no longer had Charmaine, what's there now when you think of that? Is it the new memory, or is there anything left of that loss?
No, because with the help of Lisa, she is now a unicorn, and we're at school together, and
good, very good, very, very good. So I'm going to come back to that in a minute, and before I do, I want to ask, what's your favorite or a favorite memory that comes to mind that stands out, an original memory, an original good memory, sorry, forget favorite, an original good memory of your mum? Do you have one?
Only when I was older and I had my own kids, not really sort of back there.
Not as a child. Okay, that's fine. And now, any good memory of your dad?
Yeah, we would have a pathway, and he would be away for the day, and the four of us would run out in the line, and he would lift all of us individually in a hug.
Nice. Very good. And so so when he did that, any bad memories around him doing that ever?
Oh, no.
Okay, so that was always good. So we're just looking for any possible connections there. Okay, so then let's look at the falling for the charm and the affection or the attention, that kind of thing. Any memories that you come to mind from your childhood or teenage years where you fell for something and then turned out it wasn't what you expected?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You got one?
No, but I mean, yeah, the marriage.
The marriage. Okay. How old are you then?
In my 30s. 30.
30s. All right. So now, anything earlier where you fell for something, you believed in something, you thought this was going to be, but it turned out it wasn't. And even if something comes to mind from your childhood, even if it appears to not fit in or not have any, not have a connection, let me know anyway, and let's have a look at it.
Where I was disappointed.
Where you, so the words, I fell for it. We want that. If you have anything. If you don't, that's okay.
Probably when going to boarding school.
Yeah.
My best friend was a year older, so she was the only one that I was attached to growing up. The only person I had.
Yes.
And then, so she went off, but then I couldn't wait to get to boarding school. And then when I got there, you know, it was like, oh my God, we're going to be reunited with my friend. And I was so happy. And then on the first day, she was told that she was not allowed because I was in a year below her.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't allowed. So I was, well, is that, I don't know whether I'm believing in something and then.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so when you think of that right now, how did that little you feel at that time when that happened?
Yeah, devastated. Just.
There you go. There it is. There it is. Very good. Well done, Katrina. Okay, so we want to change that, of course. So let's, I would do a stepping stone where, so she goes to boarding school and then you can't wait to get there. You get there and you are reunited and all is wonderful. And you get to spend, you know, and you get to spend all your time together. You are in the same dormitory and you go to school together and you're allowed to be together because this particular boarding school encourages relationships. It encourages connection and friendships and strength between the pupils. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
To start with. So that's the stepping stone. So you create that, practice it 3 times in a row. And then the final memory is that you two go to boarding school together. All right. So she's not a year ahead of you. You're in the same year and you both go off together. You're both so excited. And it's the most fantastic boarding school. Of course, Charmaine's there and she goes with you. And it's, yeah, it's just so much fun. Does that sound good?
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
And that's the final memory. But the stepping stone is very important to change that reference of looking forward to something or expecting something and then it doesn't turn out. So that's very important to do that piece. All right.
Okay,
and the fact that there's so much emotion there is a key that this is a very core part of this pattern. So I'm excited for you to have found that.
Wow.
Brilliant job, well done, and it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
All right, and then once you've done that, you're very welcome, sweetheart. And once you've done that, then come back to the boiler situation, the boiler scam thing, and check that again and see if there's anything left. Okay. All right, very good, Katrina. Well done, and thank you so much for sharing, because I know, again, it will be helping others as well. And I'm so proud of you. Good job. All right. And now on to Tina. Hi, Tina.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you. I'm gonna just share today with you something.
Yes.
Last night I was thinking I'm taking the coffee and great vitamins, minerals, everything. So I should be, I didn't feel like go sleep. 11, 12 o'clock, I don't want to go sleep. But I go because I want to wake up in the morning and do my stuff. So, and I was thinking, okay, why I sleeping 8 hours? Maybe I should sleep 6, 7 hours. Will be great if I can do that. Get what? I woke up 6 o'clock today. Yeah. I was sleeping like 6.5 hours maybe.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So I manifest something.
Good job, you. Fantastic.
So yeah.
And how do you feel having slept that amount of time?
No, perfect. Like I slept like maybe very long, like 9 hours. So yeah. I feel very good. I don't want to sleep much.
Well, now here's the thing with sleep, is that the length of time that one sleeps is less important than the quality of the sleep. So if you're sleeping really well for 6 hours, that's much better than fitful light sleep for 9 hours. So that's wonderful.
Yes.
If it's good quality sleep, that's fantastic.
Yes, I was sleeping all night straight. I didn't wake up. So yeah, I know when I'm waking up at night, I'm more tired than.
That's it. Even if you sleep late. And you know, one of the things with the happy coffee is that it triggers your brain to produce serotonin, and serotonin regulates sleep. So that is one of the reasons for that, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so my sleep is much better even before coffee, because I work on myself. So
good.
Sometimes was better, sometimes worse, but it's getting better. But now it's really good.
Fantastic.
And the other thing, we talk about my memories last few days, and I mean 2 days, and I was working yesterday on the memory.
Yeah.
The baby one when I was baby, so I changed everything. Like my cousin like me, they want to take picture with me, but there was something wrong with me. I wasn't happy. I was something like, I don't know, like crazy, something bothered me, and I didn't know what is it. So what I did, me as an adult, I go to that memory, I took the baby, me, and I hold the baby in my arms, and I give from whole my body love to that me baby.
Fantastic.
And I was doing this, like, I don't know, 2-3 times maybe. I was feeling the love, and I said, I don't know. So I live it. I go to my Superpower stay, and I said, okay, I'm going to go and check now. I was so calm. I was so good, like with peace. I don't know what was it, but was something there. I changed it.
That is fantastic.
So now is everything fine. We have a fun there. Everything is good.
Brilliant.
Then I go to my aunt memory. So we go out with my aunt. We go for a walk. We came back and completely changed automatically everything. So we sat down, me and my cousin, on the stairs. My aunt was there. She gave us the balloons, and she was thanking me that I play with her and I take care of her. And like in my age, I know how to take care of her. And she hugged me. She kissed me. She said, I'm so proud of you. So this like changed automatically.
Isn't that brilliant? Well done, you.
Yeah. So then I go to my grandmother. I say, okay, I'm going to see how she is now.
Yes.
And she's smiling like nothing happened. She's so good. So she brought me the gift, which was skates. And my father was there. She bought the sled. So we were joking. Now my grandmother, we're gonna put on the sled. We're gonna take her home, and like was like crazy, silly stuff we create, like funny things. And the good thing is, like, I create the memory. I go with my father to skate, and we have awesome time there, and it's everything awesome. So everything changed. So it's beautiful. I was like practicing this morning in the bed. I didn't want to get up yet. I was awake, but I was like 1 hour in the bed, and I was practicing. I say like, well, this is good. This doesn't change. This feels so good. So I'm okay.
That is so fantastic. Well done, Tina. Thrilled to pieces to hear that. And thank you so much for sharing it. So that is a wonderful piece that Tina has just shared for everyone to do. That exercise of what Tina did, of imagining yourself as a baby or a child, whatever comes up for you, and imagine holding that baby you or that child you in your arms in a hug and feeling that love for that little thing. That is just brilliant. So that's clearly what you needed in order to shift whatever that was. That's perfect.
I don't know what was something there.
And the great thing is, it doesn't matter what it was, as long as
I don't care. It's gone.
Exactly. Oh, well done. I am so proud of you, Tina, and so excited for you. Good job, you. What a beautiful tiny example.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
Of course, it's literally a pleasure. Good job. Dziękuję for sharing.
Proszę.
All right. And Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
How is Princess Lisa today?
Oh, good. I've been summoning fairies.
Oh, very good.
And then I brought my bongos to play drums for the very student.
Nice. Nice.
So, and then, okay, so, sorry.
The dog wants to sing along.
Oh, somebody went by. Oh, okay. So I love being me. So can you imagine how wonderful it is? Wait, can you imagine how wonderful it would be if you could live your life without ever being criticized by anyone? Wouldn't it be wonderful to feel totally at ease, totally comfortable? You would get up in the morning and you would know you were going to have a wonderful day because everybody would love you and nobody would criticize you or put you down. You would just feel great. And you know what? You can give this to yourself all the time. You can make the experience of living with you the most wonderful experience imaginable. You can wake up in the morning so thrilled to find yourself and feel the joy of spending another day with you.
I love that. I love that. Spending another amazing day with you. I love that.
So that was it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lisa. That's another beautiful one. You do choose excellent pieces. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
A lot.
So I'm having a good time. So
Yay. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
While you're doing it.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sweetheart. All right. And then Swasti, how are you today?
Hello. I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So you know the person who you were talking about who basically stole your work, took your thing. So I was watching a recording yesterday of the ESC.
Yes.
I came across their video. Okay. They were literally talking like word to word about what you were saying. I was like, whoa. So, and then another incident happened in India where this person basically committed suicide because somebody like stole all their movies or something, I don't know. But basically this was all about betrayal and the idea of people betraying each other.
Yes.
And that was quite shocking. So I decided to work on that. Good. And I think it relates to, so I traced it back to unfair punishment or unfair affection.
Good.
But I don't have any memories of that. So should I just create memories of, I don't know, fair punishment?
Yeah. All right. So how do you know that unfair punishment took place?
Yeah, I think a visual of a teacher. Oh, yeah. So it traced back to in year 6 when I was 11. We were doing these SATs, level 6 SATs, choosing thing, the mocks or whatever, and I didn't get chosen because I thought that the teacher was biased and that's unfair. And then that traced back to a teacher at my school in India. So I was less than 7 in terms of age.
Yes.
And her unfair punishments towards children. I think that's it. But I don't have any, I don't remember this happening.
Okay, so that is such a great point to bring up. So thank you for bringing that up. When you don't remember something happening, but you know that it happened. So what the brain does, because bearing in mind that the brain and the body and the subconscious can't tell the difference between reality and imagination, when we are told something happened, the brain automatically produces, especially if there's emotions involved. So, you know, if it's got emotional content, the brain automatically creates a memory, effectively a memory, even though we never, and the thing that we're being told about may never have even happened, but the subconscious doesn't know that. So whatever is there, so the way to address it is however you know. So, you know, I had some memories that I was told happened when I was little, but I didn't remember them. But as I was told them, and I was told about these stories a few times, I had pictures, even though I don't remember anything. The pictures are probably nowhere near what was original. So then you just address it as a normal memory. So how do I know that happened? So you may have, it may just be a knowing. You may not have pictures, or you may have formed, you know, whatever's there. And then, and if you don't have anything specific, or you don't know how you know, you just know, then just create new memories to replace it, and then see if anything comes up, change it. Or if you've just been told something and all you remember is that person telling you the thing, then change what they're saying.
Yeah.
Does
Okay.
that make sense?
So if somebody tells you that you were punished like this, so
Right.
let's say my mum told me that or something, so I would change what they're saying.
So first of all, check if you've got any representation for it. So like, let's say your mum told you you were punished, and as you think of it, you can see something or hear something or feel something, or somehow you're back in that time, then change whatever's there, create new memories. If you can't think of any, if nothing comes to mind to change, just create new ones from scratch, and then go to when your mum told you and change what she's telling you to the opposite, positive and empowering. So she's now saying, you were the top of the class, you were gifted, and nobody knew where you learned this stuff from. It was amazing, and the teacher just loved you, and she was so sad when you left, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, and it's very helpful. Thank you.
Good.
I think it also relates to unfair affection. So a memory before came up of my sister being loved more than me, but I think that's obviously after she came, so I was 8.
Okay.
But I think it's also again back in India with the cousin and me.
Yes.
I think that,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you think of that time back in India with you and your cousin, what's the first thing that comes to mind just as you think of that time?
My auntie and me and my cousin sitting down.
Sitting down, and what's the feeling there? What's the atmosphere?
Oh, she's teaching us something. Oh yeah, and she's saying, well done to him because he understands things quickly and easily, but I don't. So she's irritated.
Perfect. Good job. So now you want to switch that round. So you're sitting down and she's teaching you, and she's saying to you, well done, Swasti, because he's the one who doesn't quite get it. And in fact, you can take it a level further and say, Swasti, I can't seem to get him to understand. Could you explain it to him, please, the way you understand it? And you don't need to know what the details are or how you explain it. You just know that you are explaining it to him, and he goes, oh, and he gets it. And she's, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying this, and she is over the moon and grateful to you that you've helped her to get it across to him, because you were able to describe it in a different perspective or something.
Yeah,
how does that sound?
Yeah, that's really empowering.
Good. And you see, for everyone else, you see how we level it up. So it's not just you understood as well, it's right the other way, right to the other extreme. That's what we want to do to create these powerful changes.
Yeah.
Good.
And also I have this thing where I feel that it shouldn't be easy for me to achieve things. So anything, it shouldn't be easy for me. So when people do achieve things very easily, like so when we had these like predicted grades or whatever in school, somebody got it so easily and I didn't. So I had to basically fight with the teachers to get the grades to be predicted. And I just feel like that's unfair. And I don't know why I feel that it shouldn't be easy for me.
Right. So just knowing the little bit that I know from your childhood, and I don't know a lot, but the little bit that I do know indicates that you've always had to fight.
Yeah, pretty much.
For affection, to be with your parents, to get your parents' attention, to get their approval, to get anywhere, to get anything done. So that makes perfect sense. So again, it's reiterating that childhood, recreating, even if it's just creating memories from scratch, and then see what comes up and change those as they come up. But you were born to 2 parents, and you can put them in England or in India or wherever feels great. Where would you have loved ideally to have grown up? Could be neither England nor, I mean, I changed my entire childhood to America. Even though I was born in London, grew up in South Africa, but I moved the whole lot to America because this is where I love to be. And so you can choose wherever you like, because your subconscious will believe it, it won't question it. And so then go from scratch that you were born to 2 parents who absolutely adored you. They couldn't wait to meet you. and they were there the entire time. You grew up and everything was so easy for you. And one of the things, and I know I've said this before, and I'm repeating it for anyone who watches the video, who's new to this, something that can help to really, strengthen and solidify these new memories is hearing other people, imagining other people talking about it. So imagining your parents saying, it's amazing how easily everything always works out for you. And other people saying, other kids saying, Swasti, how is everything so easy for you? I wish I could be like you. How do you do it? And you're going, I don't know. That's just life for me. All right.
Yeah, I'll flip things around a lot, definitely.
What was that?
I'll flip things around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So do you think this is related to perfectionism as well?
Yes, absolutely. Because to your subconscious, to that child in you, perfection is survival. And the reason for that is because in order to get, the approval of parents and those who raised us is not just, we want to earn their approval, it's survival. Because if they don't approve of us, we could die, in nature. So unconsciously, we are programmed to impress and gain the attention and approval and love and affection of those who raise us, because evolutionarily, if they aren't fully focused on us, if they don't approve of us, if they don't like us and love us, then they could abandon us and we could die, because we're not designed like like many other animals to survive on our own. We're completely at the mercy of those who raise us for everything until we grow up. But of course, the subconscious never grows out of that, really. So that's why we always look outside ourselves. And that's why there's this primal drive to gain the attention, affection, and approval of our parents and those who raise us. So that's where the perfection is coming in, because they wanted perfection.
Yeah.
And so your subconscious is going, if I'm not perfect, I'm going to die. I'm under threat of being kicked out of the tribe or abandoned, and I'm going to die. And that's why it's so strong.
Yeah, that makes sense now. Everything makes sense now. All the anxious times, like the times when I've been anxious. Yeah.
That's right. Exciting, isn't it? Yeah, and the wonderful thing about all of this is, for me, I've always found the most challenging part and the most important part is finding the things, because sometimes we can't always find those connections, those threads, those links, and those references. But once you find it, it's so exciting because we know we can change it. So this is not just about understanding ourselves. This is changing the GPS coordinates, which is fantastic. I'm so excited for you.
Me too.
Good. You're very welcome, sweetheart. Was that all you have for today?
Oh, yeah, you can go to everybody else. It's fine.
All right, good. And so that's great. And then let's go to the chat. And I'm assuming, so if you can all send your targets for today to Steve in a private message so he can collate them all.
Odile, I'm going to highlight one target that came in that I think that would be great if you could address it with a few other words. It says, please target the little me, always afraid in her house, trying to escape when she hears someone arrives. Something stays stuck there, and I would love a little help there.
Okay, so always trying to escape when someone arrives. All right.
So yeah, the little me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first thing I would probably ask is, so always trying to escape when someone arrives, where does that come from? Where earlier in the childhood did you experience something where you were in danger or you were under threat of someone arriving, or connected with someone arriving? So if you want to come on, if you want to unmute yourself, great. Otherwise, just pop it in the chat to me, or to me, and I can answer without saying your name if you prefer. All right. So while I'm waiting for that, the answer to that question. I'll check the others if there's any other questions here. Very good. So there's just some comments and things. Chris says, it's lovely to hear of Tina's progress. She and all of you have inspired me to work again on my father's face. So I've rewritten my early infancy, where he is involved in all aspects of my care. Very good. So this is a great example idea for others as well. And as I was writing, Daddy's face from an early photograph gradually began to soften and change. So I'm on my way. Good job, Chris. I'm so proud of you. Very, very good. And then after the baby's in bed, I'll continue. Thanks, all you good folk, both on and off screen. Very, very good. There's lots of congratulations to Tina here. Fantastic breakthrough. Well done. Thank you to everyone. I wrote Due Justice with Mummy and Daddy's faces. It was directed at them, but quite quickly deteriorated into a hate letter to me, which left me feeling quite bad. But because I'm experienced, it did prompt me to get on and do very necessary work on their faces, which has been my topic this week. But thought this is useful to hear how due justice letters can bring up stuff in an unexpected way. Yes, I will be addressing all the not nice self-directed stuff from the letter, a useful list of material. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Chris, because that is a great example of one of the challenges that can come up with the due justice. So that all of the hate and criticism, judgment, anything that is directed to yourself, that you feel about yourself, you've been taught to feel that. You did not come into this world feeling that about yourself, and it's not true. You've purely absorbed it from those around you. Now, sometimes they've taught you how to treat yourself or how to feel about yourself by them being like that to you. And sometimes you've learned it by watching them do it to someone else or themselves. So that is fantastic. So if that comes out in the due justice, you did brilliantly there, Chris, to focus in on the bit that hasn't been changing for you, which is their faces. And then in addition to that, I would write another due justice letter from that part of you that you wrote the hate letter to your parents, knowing that you learned that from them. So let them have it in that letter. All right, good job. And so we've had yes, so in answer to this, didn't like relatives or adults arriving, wanted to escape. Okay, very good. So what I would do there is go to the earliest memory of relatives or adults arriving, whatever that is, and it may appear to be harmless. It may appear to have nothing to do with what was later, but see if you have an earliest memory of someone arriving, and whatever that is. You may not have any details like who it is or what happened, but you may have a feeling, an atmosphere. And once you've got that, use the superpower back and forth to bring whatever negative emotions are there down, and then change it into they are arriving with something for you, something amazing. So they're gonna, they come with the news that you're all going to Disney World or on a holiday. And it doesn't matter what country you're in, you can pick anything. Your subconscious won't question it. You're all going on a picnic, or they're bringing you a puppy or a kitten or a pony. So they are arriving with something that is of particular excitement and interest to you, for you. And because there is probably something there with, it's not safe to get attention, it's not safe to be seen, or that kind of thing. So you want to turn that around completely, where it's always wonderful. So you do that first one, and then just give your subconscious that direction, that intention, that all future occasions and events where someone arrived at the house, they were bringing you something. It's balloons, it's a present, it's a parcel in the post. It's that kind of thing. Or it's someone you love that you're excited to see. It's a celebrity that you've always wanted to meet. And as you do that, you're creating those new links. So what you want to do is create that link in your brain of a knock on the door, a doorbell, whatever that is, with that excitement. That must be for me. That's something for me, because, and that is what would have happened if that had been the truth, you know, the way you were raised, where you constantly got these people arriving at the door bringing presents and, you know, celebrities and puppies and things. Your brain would have made that link, and then right till today, when you hear a knock on the door or you hear a doorbell, you would have had that excitement immediately. So I hope that helps, but let me know if you need any clarification on that or any more ideas, or if I've missed anything. All right, so let's have a look further. Always very, so another one says, always very afraid of, I see, so there's a couple of people with this question. So someone says, always very afraid of the arrival of my father with his bodyguards. He was frightening for me. Okay, so let's, hopefully that part of it helped as well. Now, with that detail that you've given me there, I would do where your father arrives, and again, so he's got the bodyguards. Now you can turn them into whatever you like. They could be doing the limbo, they could be dancing, they could be fans, they could be a part of a surprise party. And so, you know, they're bringing something, again, they're bringing something for you. They're smiling, they all adore you, you know. So your dad arrives and he's smiling, and perhaps he's wearing a costume or a funny hat or something, and they've got presents for you. And the bodyguards, like I say, you can turn them into friends or fans or backup dancers or whatever, something fun and exciting for you. So I hope that helps. So where with the earlier person, who had the same question, I was saying, so whoever arrives, imagine it's like a celebrity or someone coming with a puppy or that. For this one, where it's actually your father and his bodyguards, you want to make it still your father. So it's still that person, but they're in a completely different state. So I hope that helps as well. So say a similar answer, but with a little bit more detail there. Odile, after watching the YouTube video you sent me yesterday, it made me feel like a huge wimp. Okay, I'm not in any physical pain, nor do I have any of the health problems that she had before the happy coffee, and I am concerned that it would negatively affect me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so thank you for sharing that, Carrie. So that's very good and well done for reaching out with that. So it's always very important to reach out. So of course there's programs there. So let's look at, so the first thing is, whatever challenges we go through, whatever we've been through, there's always someone who's got it apparently worse than us and apparently better than us. So we're always in somewhere between. We're never the worst or the best in the world, because there's billions of people in the world. Now, here's the most important thing of all. It's always subjective. Whatever is going on, it's always your experience, and your experience can feel as bad as someone who apparently seems to have it worse, because we can't experience it through their eyes. And they could look at your situation, and this is whether it's physical, emotional, mental, circumstances, whatever it is, they could be looking at your situation and go, wow, I don't have it as bad as that person. Okay, so you do not have to have pain for things to be terrible and for you to want to change, right? So, you know, my issue was money. I couldn't pay my bills. Now that's nowhere near, apparently, as bad as being in physical pain, but it was to me. So in my world, so, you know, looking at someone else and going, well, I'm being a wimp because they don't have, you know, they have it worse than me. That is absolutely a program. And one of the places it comes from in our childhood is parents saying things like, well, there are kids who are suffering far more than you do, right? Yeah, I know that one too. And, you know, there are people starving, and, well, you know, some people's parents are drug addicts. And, you know, and so the child is having us as a child, we have our feelings and our expectations disrespected and pushed away and go, don't be ridiculous. And that can be devastating, because to that child in that moment, who their issue is they can't have the toy they want, they're suffering. They've got the same stress chemicals going through their system as the child who, you know, is hungry. Now, it doesn't look like it, okay? And they don't have the physical situation of the child who is hungry, but the emotional, the chemicals that are going through their body emotionally, the adrenaline, the cortisol, all those stress chemicals is the same. So saying to that child, well, at least you've got food, that just discounts their feelings, and that can easily, especially if it's done over and over, it can establish a belief, I'm not good enough. I don't suffer enough. If I really want love and affection and approval, I have to suffer a lot more in order to get it, right? And so that can lead to illnesses and financial issues and all kinds of challenges, because I'm not good enough unless I'm suffering as much as those other people are. So it's a really good program to change. So what I would do is, what does being a wimp mean? Where did you know, what's your earliest memory of learning that someone could be a wimp, that could be a wimp, or that someone else is being a wimp? Where did you learn the word wimp and what it means? So you could go there and change that. And then the other place is, what does it mean to have to suffer in order to be validated, in order to be worth something? And, you know, the little bit I do know about your family history and that, it fits in very, very well, where, you know, you need to be suffering in order to be part of the tribe, right? So there's a part there. So go back and change that. So the way I would do that is a stepping stone, where you have, you know, so you may have a memory, or you could just create a memory from what you know, where something happens. Perhaps you skin your knee, or you don't get the toy you wanted for Christmas, or something like that. So something minor happens. And if you've got a real memory of this, so much the better. You can change that. But if not, create one. And so you're like, well, you know, you're upset, you respond accordingly, and your parents are saying, that's terrible, of course. And they respond with care, compassion, kindness, and they solve the problem. They help you solve the problem, or they rectify it in whatever way. That's a stepping stone. Practice that 3 times. And then the final memory is that your family are always happy, healthy, loving, fun, affectionate, wealthy. Everything they have everything. So you would rewrite that whole history. Then after you've done that, come back to that video of the person who healed from those health problems from the happy coffee, and check again. You don't have to watch the video again, just think about it and think, so now how do I feel about that now? Does that help?
All right.
All right.
Yes, that helps.
Good.
Enormously. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Carrie. And thank you for bringing that up, because it's such a common topic. So, you know, it's something that we wouldn't necessarily have thought of mentioning, but now that you've, you know, brought that up, so many people are going to benefit from that as well.
Oh,
good job, you.
Very good. Thank you.
Good. And so any need for clarification there, any doubts, any further questions that you need?
No, I don't think so. Not for today.
All right. So you've got something to go on with there. Yes. Good job.
Yes.
Good job, Carrie. I'm
Thank
very proud of
you.
you. All right. And so any more from the chat? Let's see. Odile, after watching, oh, that was you, yes. Thanks a lot. Good, you're very welcome. My dad would walk in the door at the end of the day with his paper in hand and literally walk by me. Doing this made me believe I wasn't important. I wasn't important, not enough, not worthy of his attention or love. Not important. And that his newspaper was of far more importance, so I should get out of his way. That is such a classic example. So well done. That is such, and thank you for sharing that, because, you know, parents focused on something else to the point where they're not paying any attention to the child. That is, again, that's as bad as negative attention, because the conscious mind may reason it, but subconsciously, you're in as much threat, your life is in as much threat as it would be if you were receiving negative attention. Because if the parents, the people who raise you, the people who are there to keep you alive, are not noticing you and busy focused on something else, you could die as far as your subconscious is concerned. Evolutionarily, if your parents were not paying attention to you, they could walk off and leave you. You're not important enough to keep you alive, and especially if you've got siblings. Because in nature, if there's a shortage of food or anything else, or if they can only save one, it may not be you. And so this is not conscious, this is all unconscious, but it's that survival instinct. So it makes perfect sense. And as you said, you're being taught in that behavior, through that experience, you're being taught that you are not important. And so that, of course, is a belief that is established, a core belief that's established, which then determines so much else in your adult life. So of course you want to change that to where your dad walks in the door, he's got his paper and he spots you and he throws the paper aside and grabs you and picks you up and goes, "Oh, I missed you so much. I'm so good. Come, what have you been doing today?" And you go off together and you do activities. So he does, you play a game together, or you do a hobby, or whatever it is, or he says, "So what did you do today?" And he listens to you as you explain what you've done. He asks questions. So make it really, really strong. All right. And so do that, and you can pick, this of course happened over and over. Pick one, establish that new one, and then make that intention that to your subconscious, give that instruction that's what happened every time, the new memory. And so you would be busy doing something, and I did this for myself as well. I created these memories for myself. I'm busy coloring, and it's lovely. I'm at the table coloring, and then I hear the key in the door, and I look at the front door, and I know it's my dad, and so I jump down from the chair and I run over, and he bends down with his arms open. So create memories like that and practice them until they're established. So I hope that helps as well. Very good, and thank you for sharing that. Such powerful stuff. Thanks everyone for sharing. Very good, very relatable. Good. Thanks for bringing this up, Carrie. Love your input. Yes, that is exactly what it did to me. I felt like a throwaway person, and I did have 7 siblings. Well, that'll do it. So that's wonderful to have found that, discovered it, and changing it. Do you just remove your sibling from the memory if you make yourself an only child, or do you give them a different role, like a friend or whatever, but keep them in the memory, because I can't remove them completely from my childhood? Okay, so that's a very good question. And what we want to do is remember that these memories, these pieces of information, are separate pieces of data. They're not in one story. So as far as your subconscious is concerned, it's not like with the conscious mind, we think I was born, then this happened, then that happened, and these people were there. And then, so it's all one story. To the subconscious, it's just separate pieces of data. So you can have you're an only child where there's no sibling at all, as well as you can have the sibling, but you have a great relationship and you're the special one. You can also at the same time have the sibling be a friend instead of like you mentioned there. That's a great idea. That's your best friend or somebody who just comes to visit. So your subconscious is capable of holding all of that information, and each of those separate pieces will be supporting a different belief and a different pattern and behavior and so on. So I hope that clarifies. So the answer is yes, do it all. Okay. And then that feels so foreign to me and makes me uncomfortable, actually. Not once did he ever spend time with me, and I mean never. I will do that though. Thank you. So thank you for mentioning that, because again, others will have that same uncomfortableness. So the answer is, if you can, do it. If you find you can't, if it still feels foreign and you can't, you're still uncomfortable with the idea, and I know that feeling, then two options. Number one, you could make sure you change his childhood. Because the truth is, if he'd had a different childhood and he'd had a great relationship with his dad, he was the only child, he was loved and supported and lots of affection. He had a fun, encouraging, uplifting, secure, safe, enthusiastic, affectionate, loving, compassionate, and kind childhood. He would have grown up very differently, and he would have treated you the way his dad treated him. So that can help. If you still find it difficult, then you probably need a due justice letter to him. Even if you've already written one, write one on this particular topic, how he never, letting him know the effect of how never spending time, the fact that he walked past you, the fact that you felt unimportant, and how could he do that? Let all of that out. All right, and then try changing it again. So hopefully that helps. I have done a due justice letter to him and his parents too, but I think my negative feelings of him as a father run very, very deep, and that's understandable. I will write him another one, though, related to this for sure. Thanks. You're very welcome. And yes, absolutely. Give that another go. Many of us, Steve and I included, have written more than one due justice letter to the same person, just depending on what other topics and references have come up. So it's very common to need more than one. Oh, Steve actually suggested doing another due justice letter. There we go. Oh, wow. So it is not either or, but just all of those different memories. Thanks. Yes. Isn't that fantastic? So it's understanding that the subconscious does not hold stories. It holds bits of data, and they don't have to make logical or reasonable sense to the conscious mind. So wonderful. Well done, everyone. I think that was a very, very good. There's some really good questions there that apply to a lot of people. So thank you for sharing that. Before we go into the superpower exercise, I've remembered something that I keep forgetting to remember. Forgetting to say, and that is, if anybody would like one-to-one sessions with Steve, we do work with people one-to-one, and what you can do is we'll put a link in the description of this video to book a free consultation call. And during that call, Steve will explain to you how we work with people one-to-one, what depth we go into, and he'll help you identify some of the memories and some of the links and roots that are contributing to whatever it is you want to change today. And so we'll put that link in the description to the video for those who would like to do that. And we're also offering a special price on those programs during this COVID-19 time. So he'll talk to you about that as well. All right, so let's go into the targeting. So take a deep breath and go into your superpower, either with your eyes open or closed. Start feeling your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest, and allowing that light or energy to shine out from you, shine out from your heart. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Good. And now fill your subject. So whatever your subject is, fill that subject with that same light, that energy. Loving your subject just for existing, no matter what. And now change your subject so that they either don't want to be with you, or they don't have one of the qualities that you love about them, or they have a quality you don't like, and keep them filled with that same light, that energy anyway. Love them no matter what. That's your power. Very, very good. All right, and now let's go to Tina. Let's fill Tina with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Tina just for existing. Very good. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Tina and fill the COVID-19 situation. Fill the whole, whatever it means to everybody and everything, the whole planet. Whatever the results are, whatever the situations are with the COVID-19, love it all anyway. Whether it ends fast or not, whether everybody's lives go back to normal or not, fill it all with that light, that energy, shining that light into any darkness. Love it all exactly as it is, no matter what. Very, very good. Good job. And now let's go to Lisa. To fill Lisa with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Good job. Now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the financial struggles and health concerns of everyone on the planet. All the financial struggle, all the health concerns, fill it all with that light, that energy, loving it all exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. Feeling that power. Good job. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. Very good. And now fill Swasti's foot in particular. We don't know which foot, so both feet. Fill Swasti's feet with that same light, that energy, that love. No matter what. And fill the table that fell on it with that same light, that energy. Love it all. Love the table. Love the fact that it fell on her foot, and love her foot. Shining that light into any darkness, no matter what. Love it all anyway. All the cells of her foot, love all of them, shining that light. Good job. And now to Carrie. Fill Carrie with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Carrie just for existing. And let that light, that energy overflow from Carrie and fill the part of her that feels like maybe she's a wimp. Fill that part of her with that same light, that love, that energy. Whether she feels like a wimp or not, love it all exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. Very good. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Katrina and fill the devastation of the news at boarding school. So when she was at that little her at boarding school, finding out that news, fill that little Katrina with that same light, that energy, that love, loving that little Katrina just for existing, and allowing that light, that energy to overflow from that little Katrina and fill the whole of the boarding school and everything and everyone in it, including her friend and the teachers that wouldn't let them be together. Fill all of that with that light, that energy, shining that light into all the darkness, loving it all exactly as it is, no matter what. Feel that power. Notice that power shining out from that little one. Good, good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill the tires on her daughter's car. Fill those tires on the car, on Chris's daughter's car with that same light, that energy, loving them exactly as they are, no matter what. Loving the car no matter what, and loving Chris's daughter no matter what, exactly as she is. Shining that light into the whole situation, the car, the daughter, and everything else. Shining it into any darkness. Good job. And now for those off camera. So shining that light, that energy, into the person who was always afraid in the house, always afraid of in her house, trying to escape when she hears someone arriving. Fill that person with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love that person just for existing. And now allowing that light, that energy to overflow from her and fill the little one, the little her, who was always afraid in her house and trying to escape when someone arrives. Fill that little one with that same light, that energy, that love, no matter what, whether she's frightened of someone arriving or not, whether someone arrives or not, no matter what. Fill that little one with that light, that energy, that love, and see it shining out from her and filling the whole house and everyone in it and everyone who may or may not arrive. Loving it all anyway, exactly as it is. Very, very good. And now for all those who are feeling self-conscious about being on camera or speaking out, fill them with that same light, that energy, that love. Whether they feel self-conscious or not, whether they're on camera or speaking or not, love them exactly as they are without needing them to change, just for existing. Very good. And now all those off camera on the call today, or who are watching the recording, and who are watching, those who are watching the recording, fill them all with that light, that love, that energy. Love them all, just for existing. And now yourself later today, whatever you'll be doing, feeling, experiencing, love that version of you exactly as you are, without any conditions, without needing you to change. Just love that version of you no matter what. Very, very good. And now pick a target, pick someone or something or an event, either in your own life or in the world today, that triggers you, and keep yourself filled with this light, this energy, this power, and then shine that light into that darkness. So whatever that is, whoever it is, whatever it is, see yourself shining this light of pure, unconditional love, this power into that darkness, exactly as it is, without needing it to change. Good job. And open up and receive the love, the light, the energy from everyone else in the group, including me, loving you exactly as you are. And feel the amp up in that power for yourself. Very good. All right, you can open your eyes if you haven't closed. So how was that for everybody? Good job. So proud of all of you. And someone said, great stuff today, and thanks to everyone for being vulnerable, which helps all of us. Yes, I second that. And thanks a million once again. Lovely. You're very, very welcome, sweetheart. Very welcome. And lots of very powerful and thank yous. So fantastic. So same thing. Keep practicing. Keep improving your skill and conditioning your brain and body further and further. And we will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. So much love to all of you. Did anyone want to say anything before we go? All right. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day.